You guys definitely utilize the chat. Like Ray said, this is where you get better. Definitely. I try to keep consistent with these classes, doing these every. I know you guys can't see me right now. My camera's not on, but the camera's not important. What matters is you guys see the screen. I try to do these 2 times a week at least. Well, I didn't do 2 last week. I did a Q&A on Thursday because I was passing out candy for Halloween. So by the time I got done, it was like 8:30. So I hopped on here for a quick little Q&A just to help some people, answer their questions. Because I know, yes, we have a whole academy there. And yes, we have the whole platform and the go lives and stuff. But sometimes there's questions that you have that you might not have got answered on there. So I try to do Q&As on this too and make sure that I answer you guys' questions you may have as far as, entering a trade. I know a lot of people have questions about patterns a lot. I usually teach patterns on Thursday, but on Sunday, I usually keep it real basic. So what I'm gonna do on this Sunday is I'm trying to incorporate a few different things, more than just the patterns and more than just the, the markups. Last Sunday, I want to say I covered Ray started off with the USD CHF trade, and I kind of finished it off, the USD CHF trade. Where's it at? Trying to finish this joint off. So what I'm going to do is, this is still going in the right direction also. But what I'm going to do is, cover trades whenever last week just to see where we're at. Oh yeah, it definitely did drop nicely. Let me go to it real quick. Oh yeah, it dropped perfectly. It's actually right at a trend line right now too. Because you guys see I have 2 different tested trend lines on here. It matters not. I have 2 different tested trend lines. And I was showing you guys that our original entry was right here at this 4 level of resistance. And I told you guys if price pushes to this trend line right here, this black one, don't freak out. It pushed right to it, rejected it. That was the momentum it needed to make that push down. So you guys had 2 chances for an entry in this trade. Like two pretty nice entries. If you would have entered at the original spot, you would have only been negative 20 pips. And if you enter a pair, you'd have been negative, I want to say no drawdown. And then you wrote this bad boy down. It went complete 80 pips down. So you could have made it 80 to 100 pips on that. But on the flip side, you also could have made money on the way up too, because this definitely was there, the ride up. So you could have made 80 pips up and at least 80 pips down. Should have risked your life. You should have, man. And what's the funny thing about that is, like I said, when I saw price pushing up to the trend line, I should have dropped a full lot on that bad boy. That's what I should have did. But playing it safe. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the patterns that I had last week from last Sunday and last Thursday. Was I dropped in the group chat and see where they at? So this one on gold. You guys should have definitely made some money off gold last week. I dropped some gold analysis as I do every single week. Somebody besides me should have got some of this gold sell right here. Good old 60 pips down right there. That was a nice gold sell. And also, price came right back there. You should have got right here too, at least another down. I got 30 pips off this move right here. You guys should have got some pips off this. It was a nice little head and shoulder setup. I covered head and shoulders last Sunday too, but you guys see it right here, left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. And it completed, and then it skyrocketed up. So what's funny about this too is last Sunday, I was showing you guys there's a zone that gold has been touching and turning around on. Let me hold up. Some touching and turning around on, and price came right to that zone. Now, I don't worry about these triangles. I'm just showing people wicks on this. I was showing Lamar the wicks on Thursday that are on here. But yeah, these triangles don't matter. I was just showing the wicks in the directions that they were making price go on gold. But yeah, this big gold zone out here, my pattern is actually still valid on here. Unless this point goes like up above this point. Oh, let me stop just pointing. Unless this point gets above this point to the left, this pattern is still valid. And with that, let me make sure I'm right. Yeah, I'm looking for a good old, the sell down, then the buy up. Now, this is a big zone down here that gold does not want to be in. So when price came down there, look what happened. It rejected heavily multiple times. So, just by knowing that and seeing that, could have had opportunity to hop into gold. Like this, again, this multiple opportunities over and over to hop into the same pair and make a lot of money. But let me see what else we had on here. Let me scroll through. UJ, I dropped this in the group chat also when price is rejecting off this trend line, and you see what happened with this long fall. Even this big fake out news wick right here, it was just motivation for this long fall down. So guys, I mean, man, if you guys see me drop something in the chat, I'm dropping it in the chat for a reason. I'm not dropping it for my own fun. I'm dropping it for you guys to be up on it. Keep going. This Chef JPY, still developing. There's a Gartley pattern on here, still developing. Let me see. Same thing with Euro JPY. Again, Gartley pattern, still developing. It's actually at a point of support right here. If I draw a line right here, and I'm just doing a quick little scan through so you guys know what I'm talking about. This can be a 1 hour line. There you go. It's a low level of support right there. So if it breaks that, you can look for price to push right here and probably push back up before it goes back down. And also, if you guys have any questions, drop those questions in the chat because I'm here to answer these questions for y'all. This is UJ again. I have 2 UJs on here for a reason. NZD-JPY, again, I dropped this one for you guys in the chat also. And look what happened. It dropped very, very nicely. Like, I'm not gonna say it was perfect entry, but it was in drawdown about, what was that, 14 pips from entry, and then it dropped to 58 pips. Euro GBP, still waiting on this bad boy to stop playing around and push up. Now, it's one thing I noticed about Euro GBP from trading it, it takes a while, and it's pretty annoying. But it takes a while, but it gets there. You see, I had a big pattern right here. It gets there, it plays around a little bit. So this is still pending, this is still waiting. If you want to, you can actually still hop in this trade for a buy because we're doing a C leg to D leg buy on this. That's what we're looking for. So if you haven't hopped in this trade, you can still hop in this trade right now because it's not, it's not doing anything. It's not outside the red box, which is the entry zone, and it's not making too much movement, too much noise. So we're gonna see what happens with that. Euro USD, I got a bat pattern forming up on this. Still valid, waiting on price to push down. What I need to happen on this, now, this is Euro USD, Euro GBP, they're both Euro pairs, but what I need to happen on this is I need this to push down and break one of these trend lines before I worry about hopping into this for the sell. Because if price doesn't break this gold, aka 4-hour trend line, or doesn't break this daily trend line, I'm not worrying about this. And like Ray said, use a small position because it's a long trade. Yeah, on your GBP, use a small position. Don't go jump here head first because this move is, let me see what we got. This move is, yeah, it's a lot of pips. So you can do like I guess, a pretty small lot on that because it's a lot of pips you're actually looking to get on that. So Euro USD, let me see this bat pattern. Like I said, I'm waiting on price to break under one of these trend lines before I even hop in this because I don't want to hop in this for a sell and then it taps this and goes back up. Which I could ride it there, but you see it already tapped this trend line and it's going back up. But one thing too, utilize this basic stuff too, like these trend lines and such, because these trend lines, man, I know I have so much on my charts, but I have them there for a reason. They kind of guide you on what price is doing, what price is going at, or what price can possibly do. Because again, this is about probability, not 100% knowing. No one 100% knows what's going to happen all the time, but those high probability trades, though, those get you right. This was forming up something, but it invalidated right here. But it could still be a double bottom, or even I see a nice little head and shoulders on here. Your NZD. I don't know if someone dropped this earlier. I think B Worthy dropped this earlier. This head and shoulders. If you guys know what a head and shoulders is, it is this movement right here, which is like left shoulder, bam, bam. Head and shoulders. So you got your head. I didn't do that perfectly straight, but got some head and shoulders action right there. There you go. Head and shoulders right there. But I think I already pushed down far enough, so this might already be done unless it's going to push all the way down here. But again, it's another Euro pair. So looking like we need a lot of Euro pairs to go down, but then Euro GBP, we need that to go up. But then again, it's a lot of Brexit news with that. So if something adverse happens with the pound, it's probably going to push that GBP down, which will make that Euro GBP go up. Let me see what we got here. What rules do you follow to set up those trend lines? I will show you. This is a basic class. I will show you how I do the trend lines. I'm just going through right now and seeing the trades that I had before that I had you guys hop in or whatever, and where they're at now, so we can see where they're at, if they're still pending or what's going on with them. Nothing special on there. This one is already gone, but there's a bigger cipher still forming up on this. It's just taking this sweet time on AUDCHF. And I will definitely get back to those trend lines in a second. This cipher pattern. So price did get outside this box, kind of, but I drew this from the daily. So from the daily, it's just wicks. So if it's just wicking, it's fine with me. You see that? It's just wicks. It's just price turning around and dropping off that trend line. We'll drop the level of resistance right there. I can't talk. That's just price dropping off the level of resistance right there. And then, so this cipher is still valid. Now, if it starts taking off, I wouldn't then try to hop in this right here to entry, because it might have made this move early. That definitely does happen sometimes. That's how I ride C to D on ciphers, because sometimes price will blast straight past the entry, or sometimes price will turn around before the entry. So I ride C to D on the on cipher patterns. But yeah, this bad boy was dropped when price was still over here somewhere, and it's making its way downtown, walking fast. This cipher, same thing, wicks everywhere. Now, looking at this, there's a daily trend line right here. Price is on top of that. Price is also on top of a level of support. And it's kind of consolidating right on the level of support. Look at this. This is a GBP pair. So some adverse GBP news comes out and GBP decides to drop. This bad boy is going right down there. It's going right down here somewhere. Now, the entry on this cipher is freaking, what is it? It's almost 900 pips down. So what I will say is when price gets like a solid close, or right now, actually, technically, it's on the bottom side of this trend line right now. But when I get a solid close outside of this pink box, like down here somewhere, I'm probably gonna do a self-stop at the bottom of this, because it's a nice little level right here. So I'm probably gonna do is when price gets below this, I'm gonna give you a nice little self-stop on this. Let it go. But like I said, if GP news hits and it's negative, or some Brexit crap comes out and it's negative, it's gonna make that bad boy fall anyway, which it needs to do. Euro CHF, sorry to hit take profit 1, but yeah, it's been playing nicely. That just looked really weird just now. You see prices on the bottom of this trend line too. Now, the reason why I always talk about the bottoms and tops of this trend lines is because I like to look at them as prices playing one side of it. So when price is playing on one side of it, it needs to break and retest that trend line to keep on moving in either direction it's going to go. So by me utilizing these trend lines, it lets me know what can possibly happen, or what price can possibly go at. You guys see this right here, missed by like a pip, and then it dropped all the way down to take profit 1 and 2, but it came right back to and dropped back down to take profit 1 again. So yeah, that definitely tends to happen sometimes too. USD CHF, we talked about this already. We got nothing on here. This bad boy missed completely. So EuroCAD, same thing with this. So this bat pattern missed, but there was a Gartley pattern in here tied in the middle of this, which was right here. Now the entry was a little different, but entry was like this. This was your Gartley pattern right here. Let me turn this blue so you guys know it's a Gartley. Well, yellow and blue. That was your Gartley pattern right there. And for your Gartley, that's actually a perfect entry. Now for the bat, which was at the bottom piece down here, it missed the entry. But if you're in the Gartley, I want to say Kareem got in this Gartley right here, and it took off perfectly. And look what price stopped at. A black level of resistance, and which means a daily level, and a daily level of resistance on the trend line. It's still playing the bottom side of this. So right now it's just wicking. So it made 2 touches. Well, technically, it's 3 touches right there. But you know, the next touch, if it touches again, it might be the one that drops this bad boy off. You know, that's gonna push down before it makes this move back up. But again, I'm gonna show you how I got to the point of getting these trend lines on here. This is ACAD, look at this earlier. I have my 2 entries on here. One was up here at 886, one was down here. I actually made out pretty well in this little bit of movement right here, because I had a trade up here. And so I caught, what was that, 50? I caught 50 pips off of this on my first entry, and I caught 25 pips on my second entry. I had 3 entries on this still, and I let one ride down, and it closed out in profit. So no stresses on that. I had two close out, 150, one to 125, then had one close at like 5 pips in profit. This joint, UCAD, this is the Gartley that everyone saw. I had this one also set up for you guys since the break and retest of this trend line right here. You guys see it right here. This is the break and the retest and then push down. It's been set up since then. So you guys who were watching this also should have known that your entry for this was right here and right here. This is your money zone box. So if you're in this UCAD trade, you should be definitely be well off in blue if you haven't closed it out yet. GCAD, I already looked at this, didn't I? Yeah, the Gartley pattern wait for it to push down. NZD CAD, all these pairs look real similar right now. Same difference, waiting for this bad boy to fall down. I guess we should be expecting a strong Canadian dollar. That's how it's looking because all these CAD pairs are kind of high. And this one pushes down, it's going to drop. So we're going to see what happens with that. But back to these trend lines real quick. So I'll show you how I get some of these, well, get these trend lines on here. Now, trend lines, I find they work on any pair, honestly. The pair does not matter. And it's all just about, you don't have to have as many trend lines as I have on my chart at all. You definitely do not have to have those, but I have so many because they're integral to my strategy of trading. I use support and resistance a lot. I use harmonics a lot, but I use my trend lines a whole lot too, because there's times where if I don't have a harmonic pattern, I still can have a trend line hit or break and retest and see it coming, or knowing that if I draw a daily trend line on a chart and price is approaching it, I know there's a chance that price might, kind of get pulled to that, like kind of gravity pulled to that, or it might hit that and reject, or I might be looking for a break and retest just off a trend line alone. So I know everyone trades differently. There's literally 1,000 ways to trade, but that good old trend line break and retest, or the break and retest of support and resistance, it's definitely like, it happens no matter what. So no matter what your trading strategy is, that move is going to happen. So since I have this this thing already set up, well, already naked, I will show you guys what it is and what's going on. So what I do with this is I start off with these joints. Give me a second. Since I'm on my daily, I will make my go daily line, which is black. I know you guys who've been on my class have seen this a million times, so I'm kind of going to fly through this part right here, which is just, level of support and resistance points where price has been turning around. That was a pretty easy level to find right there. You see how price is playing on the top side of that? That's support. This is resistance. Same thing here. I'm looking for points where price has just been like hitting the brakes at. So same thing here, right there. It's not the sexiest one, but it gets the job done. Let me see. Yeah, see, so right here is support. Right here, it was resistance. So I'm going to highlight that resistance, and then right here, support because price is playing on the top side of that. Now, if you notice already, bear with me. I'm about to fly to this, but I'm just going to show you guys how I get to the point of using these trend lines and how you can enter off trend lines alone. I'm not going to do any harmonic crap on here. Just going to be trend lines and entries, and how you can use what you see in the market to, to make a smart decision when getting into a trade. So, just going through, finding my levels. If you guys have any questions about this, let me know. What I'm not going to do is go on here and draw every single level on here. There's a nice little head and shoulders right there too. I was talking about earlier. See the head and shoulders action right there? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then price push down. Nice little head and shoulder action right there. And this is the thing you guys can do too. If you guys think you might see something, definitely you can go back and just go back in time and practice it. If you have a paid TradingView account, go back and rewind some of these things and see what happens. Like rewind it to a point where you don't know what happens next, and then just see what you see, be it a pattern, be it a trend line break and retesting this and coming up, just see what happens. Now, the reason why I have so many trend lines on this is because when there's a break and retest happening, or let's say I have an entry for a harmonic and price is a little bit like off of where our next level of support is, I might have a trend line right there. If I have a trend line at my entry, that's more confirmation for me to get into a trade. Even though it might not reject off that trend line, there's a higher chance that it might reject off the trend line than it not rejecting off that trend line. So now I'm on my 4-hour time frame, doing the same thing, going through dropping lines. Dropping lines, dropping lines. Same things. This one right there too. Now for this trend line, trend lines, for these levels of support and resistance, aka floors and ceilings, to be legit, all you need is like 2 touches. Now that is fine and dandy, but I usually look for like way more touches than 2, because I feel like 2 is like the minimum that you need. 2 touches work better on the trend line than doing support and resistance. Because when you have a good level of support and resistance, you can see that you have like touches like this. It's just all this consolidation, just tapping, 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 tapping. And right here, same thing. You got tap, 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 tap. Like it's just multiple touches. Don't only look for 2 touches. Just I look for as many as possible, because it's going to show you that if there's multiple touches in that one spot, like for instance right here, there's plenty of touches right here in this zone on this trend line that you guys can barely see as gold, but it's there. But the more touches, the easier it's going to be for you to be like, you know what? I see that price could possibly go back there again, because price is getting stuck at that zone over and over and over. So drop one right there too. Now, so I do the same thing on my 1 hour, making these bad boys green this time. And yes, my trend line, but my level, I keep on saying trend lines. My level of support and resistance are so thin now because I had them all as thick as the daily ones right there were. But the problem was there were so many of them on here. It was just like kind of cluttering up the chart. So my best indicator now is on the right. I can see what color that line is. So if it's gold, I know it's 4 hour. If it's black, I know it's a daily. And if it's green, I know it's drawn to 1 hour. Now, the biggest benefit of making these like more uniform also is so people can know what you're looking at or what they're looking at if you drop a chart in one of the group chats, just because it's uniform. I'm not saying you have to do it this way, but it definitely makes life way easier when someone else looking at your chart and you're asking the question. Because someone will be like, okay, what does this line right here mean? What does this line right here mean? What does this line right here mean? At that point, you're having to explain your whole chart and you're not getting your question answered. You're trying to explain what's on it in the first place. And remember, some of these, like these need to go through wicks, not bodies of candles, but some of these will go through some bodies, but I mean, that happens. Because at some point, these wicks are going to be, going through the body of some candle somewhere. That just happens. But let me go and see up here also. I kind of like the one right there. And let me scroll some more. Okay, so I'm not going to do every single one on here. I don't do any trend lines on the 15-minute at all. Now, only way I would do a trend line, only way I would do a level of support and resistance or trend line on the 15-minute is if I have a pattern setting up, something like that, and I'm trying to see where my entry might be at. So now I'm done with that. Back to my daily. Now you see all I did was lines basically in the middle. I didn't do 1 hour lines all across this whole thing because that's going to take forever to do. And it's not important to the grand scheme of things right now. Well, it might be. Matter of fact, I do have this already, but I'll show you guys anyway. Fibonacci tool, bottom of this, top of this. What I got? 50% touch. This could be a big old bat pattern right here. I think I have this already on my main charts though. But yes, it's a big old bat pattern right here. And I can see that just by using 1 fib, even though you probably need at least 2 on the bat, but I just did the 1 because I can just see that this part reached what it needs to reach. And let me just be sure. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, this is a big old bat pattern forming up on UJ. We're not looking at that right now. It's not important. But you just know that price may reach down there at some point. Just know this is on drawing the daily, so it's probably going to take a while. Now, with this trend line that he was asking about 20 minutes ago, and I'm just now getting to, what I'm doing is taking my trend line and go to just the bar. Now, all I'm doing is grabbing from wick to wick. So right here, I'm just seeing where the trend is at. And you can kind of see it right there. So now that I've dropped that, I extend each side. So I go to my, where does it say? Bam. And I can adjust accordingly. This is touching there. It's touching all those. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Let me see. Let me actually do this like that. It's cutting through those wicks, tapping those wicks. So you see that's the upward trend right there. I know it's cutting through the bodies of these right here, but you see this turnaround was right at the end of this daily trend line right here. So what I can do with that is, what I do is control and copy this, and I'm seeing what else I have that fits the same exact trend line. So let me see what else I got on here. This one right there. You guys see it? Touching that wick down here, right there. There's a nice little break and retest right there. Right here in the middle, it's touching. Right there, that rejection. You see how that works? Like this same trend line that I copied the first time, what I made the first time, I just copied it again over and over. And oops, I didn't move that one. So I can do that again, like over and over. You see the trend, it repeats itself. I'm not saying this is the only trend line on here. Now, the funny thing about trend lines is, if you pay attention to my USD CHF markup I had trend lines going in multiple directions. Well, not multiple directions, but multiple ways at multiple angles. So I might have this one right here going up at this angle, then I can grab a trend line from here to here also. It's at a different angle, but it's still a valid trend line. Let me go to extend this. And that's actually not touching where it's supposed to be. Let me see. There you go, like that. So you can see, even though I dragged that trend line, I'll make this one a different color. You ever heard someone say before, two things can be true? Two things can definitely be true with trading. So look, this is a different trend right here. It has multiple touches right here, comes across, multiple touches right there, multiple touches, well, a touch right there, a touch right there. And that break of this trend line is still valid because it's actually a perfect break right there. So I can bet if I copy the same one over, it will do the same thing the first one did, of showing that it has multiple ways of a trend line, like multiple directions, like right there. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 touches. So I can definitely, so like how you set it up, I usually just put 1 or 2 trend lines. No, I do multiple trend lines, man, because when you control and copy, you see that there's some kind of deeper math to this, that these trend lines repeat themselves. You can just control and copy it at the same angle. Look at this pink trend line I'm drawing on here right now. This is all still in the daily. Like I just copied the same trend line over 3 times, and again, what do I have? Let me grab a circle again. It's 1 touch. At the end, there's a nice rejection. Pulling in here, rejection, rejection, all in the middle, rejections. Right here, rejection. Right there, another one, another one. It's on DJ Khaled right now. There's so many rejections of the same trend line over and over, and these are 2 completely different trends. They're both trending upwards, but they're 2 different trends. So when I do my trend lines, I can utilize these to see that, okay, if I have a pattern or if I have something, I can just kind of use these to guide where price might go at. I just drew these same pink ones. I know you have trend lines going everywhere now. They're crossing over. I know it's a lot of stuff going on right now, but these bad boys can definitely help guide you to where you think price might go at. Now, how I can utilize this, for example, is, so I have, you guys know what a break and retest is, right? So price pushes down, price breaks the point, a trend line, goes back and retest it. So I'll make this one, I make these lines right here black because I'm making, let me see, that's too bright. I'll make them, they're already blue, I'm stupid. I'll make these ones black, like I said I was gonna do in the beginning. Now I'm making these arrows black just to show that they're with the black trend. That sounds hilarious. They're with the black trend. So you see this black trend line, it broke and retested right there. Came straight to a pink one. It came straight to a pink trend. And then went from there, rejecting the pink trend line, pushed down, broken retest of the pink trend. You see it? And it went right to another trend line, which is another pink one. Now, this point right here, I actually have this black and pink trend line like crossing paths, and that was a hard rejection for it. Like that's 3 levels technically that price needs to break through to push down. What I mean by 3 levels is there is a pink trend line. That's one. There's a black trend line. That's two. There's a black daily level of resistance. That's three levels that price needs to break through to keep on pushing down. So if I saw this, like when it was happening right here, that's the perfect entry right there for a trade. Because it's so much momentum that price needs to bust through to get through all three of those things that's happening, that it's probably going to reject off of that. I'm not saying it's a guarantee it's going to reject, but there's a high probability it's going to reject off of that. If I was going to enter this trade right here, let me see. If I was to enter this trade right here, my risk would be, this is a big trade. I'm risking a chunk of pips. So this is a daily. So this probably be a swing. I'm risking about 200 pips with a possible 500 pips up. So I mean, that's a pretty good risk to reward ratio right there. If you're wondering what my risk was, let me take this right here, this long position real quick. It'd be like this. You're wondering why it's like this for? It's because I have my 4-hour level right here. So if price was to touch my 4-hour level, I'm out this trade, hitting the stop loss, 200 pips loss. But my gain is going to my next daily level. I trade zone to zone. So this whole zone right here is my potential for earning profit right there. Like that whole zone right there is potential for earning profit. And again, this has nothing to do with harmonics. This is literally, it's no Fibonacci's on here, nothing. This is literally just trend line. That's why I use them so much, because they show you areas where price doesn't really want to be, or areas where price gets weak at and decides it wants to turn around. And by me just drawing these trend lines on here on a naked chart, even if I didn't have my level of support and resistance on it, I can still kind of see the trend of where price wants to go at or where price doesn't want to go at. Let me just erase. Okay, let me erase these arrows off of here. Now, talking about the break and retest again. And what's funny is that break and retest happens multiple times. And I have dual trends right here, but again, they're both trending up. It's all about what trends you see. I probably can go in here and draw another trend line. I'm not going to because it'd be way too much, but I probably can go in here and draw another fresh trend line and then control and copy it over again. And I'll find another point of trends on here. I want to say this form of trading is called like pitchforks. It's a pitchfork tool. I don't use it because I don't know how to use it, because I never really had a reason to use it. But it's like you do a pitchfork and you draw something. It's something like this. Yeah. Something like however this thing works. But it basically does the same thing with these trend lines with the pitchfork. I don't know how it works. I don't use it, but same thing. They also have a fib that that goes that direction too. There's all kind of stuff on here you can use. I don't use any of this stuff though. Like fib circles, no idea how this works. I'm guessing I don't know, I'm not gonna try to guess on how this works, but fib circles is the thing too. There's all kind of ways you can trade. Like I said, there's 1,000 ways to trade on here, man. What is this? How does this one work? I don't know how this works either. But I use these trend lines again because it's kind of like pitchforks, except, well, also there's a thing called fans too. I'm not gonna get into fans either. I don't trade fans, but it's kind of like using trend lines except they fan out. So again, it's so much different ways you can do the same thing or to get the same answer. Because people say two things can be true. It definitely can be true. But again, with these trend line things, you see right here, it's another good example. I'm looking right here, by the way. You guys don't know. Looking right here at this point. So let's say I did not, let me rewind this. Rewind this about right here. Let's say I see price is riding this level of support. This is a daily level, it's black. Riding this level of support over and over and over again. Every time price is coming down here, I'm buying it, right? So I'm buying this for a reason, because price is showing me that it does not want to break back under this daily level. So with that, I can look and now, let's say I want to buy this again. These levels give me a chance to set up my levels of my take profit and my stop losses on here. Because if price keeps on bouncing off this level right here, let me make this red now. If price keeps bouncing off this daily level over and over, you see the multiple bounces right there, and right there, and right here, and right there, and right there too. It's a very small break and retest on there of this level of support. But you see how price keeps bouncing off that? I'm like, okay, price keeps on going to this well over and over. At some point, it's going to break the well. But what I can do, since I'm utilizing that, I can get in the buy opportunity just on the strength that price is stuck there. And this is a strong level, because this is the reason why I draw these on the on different time frames. Because when you have a level drawn on the daily or even the weekly, I don't go to the weekly, but if a level drawn on the daily, it's gonna hold more weight than a level drawn in 1 hour. And that's just the way it works. So these wicks are showing you that price doesn't really want to be down there. So with that, I have a 1 hour level right under this. It's not as strong, but I also have an upward trend line right under this. See this pink trend line coming up? So I know that if price busts through this, it's probably going to test this trend line and then keep on going up, because this trend line has been being tested the whole time. I remember I told you guys earlier about price playing each side of a trend line. Perfect example, price right here, like using these little ugly triangles, was playing the bottom side of this trend line. You see price when it rolled up, it played top side of this trend line. And then it got stuck on the bottom side of this trend line, which is also the top side of this other pink trend line. And when it finally broke, now it's playing the bottom side of this trend line. So the price is kind of like stair-stepping this way down this trend line. So let me play this out real quick. Hold up, I can't see it. Where's it at? Oh, there it is. It's hidden. So look at that. Price went right to this trend line and tapped it. So even if I wanted to get in here, I know that even if they get in this daily level right here for a buy, I wouldn't freak out if price pushed down, because I knew it could probably go and test this trend line. Because remember, all this movement right here was on the bottom of this same pink trend line before it broke it. And when it finally broke it, it had this big momentum wick right here, broke both of these trend lines, which was another entry for a different trade right there, broke both of these trend lines, and then did this thing, and it came back to that same trend line and tested. Now, seeing that it was playing on each side of this trend line, when it finally gets to the trend line again, it's just retesting it. So I can get an entry up here or entry down here, but my stop loss would be like at this next daily level. Now, the reason why it would be there is because all in between here, yes, there are trend line. It's so much that price has to bust through to even get down there. So I have my stop loss down there, because if the price gets down there, I mean, the trend is probably changing. So as long as it's playing the top side of one of these trend lines, or the bottom to the top, I can know where I can get into a trade and put my stop loss and stuff is at. My stop loss and such at. So let's see what price did. Look at this. Let me pause this one more time. Look what price did again. Another example right here of how I use these trend lines right here. Look at that. Okay, I have a 4 hour level right here of support. I have that pink trend line on the upward trend. I have a black trend line on the upward trend. It's so much, again, that price has to bust through to push down. So what did it do? It hit all three of those trends. Well, it hit those two trend lines and that one level of support and pushed right up. So that's another one of those trades where you can got in and you would have like no drawdown on that. And that went for 250 pips. So hold on, let me zoom in a little bit closer to a smaller time frame. Excuse me. So you see, look at that. It had to break through all that to push down, and it couldn't break through all that momentum right there. It's too much barriers that price has to break through. So it needs a lot of momentum to get through that. So it went up here, found support on this same 4 hour. And when it came down with some hard momentum, it broke it and it retested it. So now you see that price is now playing the bottom side of this trend line. And I feel like I just talked about this, the bottom and top side of these trend lines. But look, all the movement now is on this side of the trend line. It broke it and it retested it. Break, retest, push down. Again, another opportunity for you to get into a trade, because that break and retest, so on that retest position right here, that's your chance to get in the sell. This right now, there's levels that already had to break through to start pushing down, and it broke through them. It broke through a 4 hour level right here. You guys see it? That 112, 109 broke through there. And when it did, it's now playing the bottom side of these two trend lines, these two upward trends. So it's starting to push down for the, let me see what happens. So all this movement that's happening again is under one of those pink trend lines. And look at that. Look where it's going at. Another level it had to try to break through. And again, I'm not saying trading is just this easy, but don't make it harder than it has to be. This is that same daily level where all my red hours at earlier. See this black level right here? Price is right to it. Now again, price is at this level, is at those two upward trends again. And what did it do? It popped off of it. Now I'm not saying price won't break it, but it definitely hit it and rejected it really hard. So let's see what happened. And look at that. After that pop up, what happened? It needed momentum to get under there. And now, if I zoom in again, you guys will see little break. Let me get to the 15-minute. Little break and retest right in here. And look at those rejections off of that, though. All those levels right there, rejected, rejected, rejected. All opportunities for a buy. And then when it finally got under it, that's your break, retest of this. And this is a retest of this pink trend line, this black trend line, and this daily level, and then the push down. Because again, it's a lot price has to break through to get through there. And so just think about it. You know, think about someone running through a sheet of glass. I'm using this stupid example because I saw like the world Guinness record of some dude running through a wall of glass before. He was trying to break sheets of glass back to back to back. So if you're covered in like, I guess like football pads and body armor, you can bust through one pane of glass. When you have to bust through 4 panes of glass back to back to back, your momentum starts slowing down. So think of these levels of support or these trend lines as panes of glass. You can bust through one of them. But when you have like 4 of them stacked up or 3 of them stacked up, you're probably gonna get a rejection, or you're gonna bounce off of it at first before you get momentum to bust through it. Because price definitely needs momentum, just like anything else, to get through a level of resistance. So let me play this some more. You guys see what happened. We're just watching. Look where price went at on this trend line. It went to it and bounced right off of it. Because at that point, there's 2 things it has to break. It has to break through that upward trend still, and that black line. Remember, that's a daily level. And let's see what price returns around at. It's hitting the brakes a little at the pink trend line. Because again, it's more it has to break through. It's playing way too slow. Let me pause this and go to a daily. This is bad boy playing way too slow. And this is the fastest speed it can go. But just look at how price respects these. You literally can use trend lines and support and resistance and enter trades. Now, one of the biggest mistakes I made when I first started trading, I was like, okay, if price is going to turn around that level of resistance or support, why don't you just hop into a trade right here? If trading was that simple, everyone would be winning all the time. There's more information goes into it. That's why it's one of the major reasons why we color coordinate these things, so we know what's going on and what's happening. No, I'm talking why I think it's playing out, so you guys can see what happened. But and that's the end of it. But if price is just gonna come to a level of support and resistance and then turn around, that would make life easy for all of us. But you know, life ain't that easy. But looking at these pink and black trend lines that I drew all over here, all these levels in the middle, you see that price respects these levels for a reason. And when you have more of them kind of like stacked in the same position, it usually causes a nice rejection. Now, if they're like spaced out like this, I can't guarantee that price is going to reject off of it. Like they're all spaced out. There's a giant, it's like a gap in here. But when they're like stacked like this, no, a nice little pop is coming. Something like that. See how price popped off of that? Right here, this is a perfect break and retest right there. It actually had multiple retests on that. Just trying to break back through, that's your break, that's your retest. On a bigger scale, let me make this one black. Bigger scale, break, retest, push down. It went right to your level of support, which is drawn on the daily, and right back to another daily level. So what's even more funny about these trend lines too is I can drop down to probably in a single 4 hour or even in 1 hour, and I can copy one of these same trend lines over, and I can bet you these trends still get followed too. Because those, when it's like when price is in an upward or downward trend or however the trend is moving, no matter what time frame you copy it on, you're going to find that it still kind of follows that. So for instance, right, is that a good one? I'll say about right here. I'll make this one a different color so you guys can see that. Well, that's pretty close color. I'll make this one nice and bright green and actually thicken up a little bit. So I copied the same green trend line from that pink one right there, which is drawn on the daily. This one is drawn on the 1 hour. Now look again, look again at the rejections on it. Same thing. Like, even you copy this to a smaller time frame, price seems to follow the same trend. This one isn't like the perfect cleanest one, but you see that when price came through this trend line, rejection, break and retest, rejection, a very small break and retest right there. In the middle, rejection. We got rejection, break and retest, rejection, rejection, rejection. Like this is the same trend line. It's just on a smaller time frame. Same thing happens over and over. If I control copy this down right here, same thing. Look at that. Break and retest, rejection, rejection, break and retest, like over and over and over. It's actually a rejection right now, the same trend line. This is the same one, just in a smaller time frame. And this happens over and over, same thing there, over and over. I'm not saying go in here and draw this ridiculous amount of trend lines, but you guys see my point in doing this, right? You see how every time price approaches the same trend, this is the same pink trend from the daily. I'm on a smaller time frame now, but look at all of those levels of respect on the same trend lines that I'm just copying over. Look at that. It's crazy. It's like price is moving horizontally for the level of support and resistance, but it's also finding support and resistance across these trend lines at a diagonal level. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to confuse you guys with this, but I'm pretty sure if I was to take this and draw a downward trend on this, it's going to probably give me the same thing, because if you have a trend line, it's going to be respected somewhere. See that trend right there? That was just a random line that drew just now, but same thing happens. If I can control copy this one over, it's going to happen that way too. But what I tend to do is, if I see it going like on the upward one, on the higher time frame, I just keep with that one and let it go. Now, with that being said, do you guys have any questions about it? Oh, I'm seeing any questions right now. So, no questions? Well, with that being said, this will be uploaded to YouTube. If not tonight, it will be uploaded in the morning. But yeah. You can save the recording. It's gonna be on my YouTube channel in the morning if I don't upload it tonight. I'm probably gonna upload it in the morning though. So my YouTube channel is at Elmodern Trades. Now that's my YouTube. That is my YouTube, my Facebook, my Instagram. If you search Elmodern Trades on any of those, or hashtag Elmodern Trades on any of those, it's gonna pull up my page on everything. So with that being said, I will see you guys on Thursday. On Thursday, I don't go over sessions this basic. What I would do though, I usually incorporate these trend lines and support and resistance into my harmonics and my entries in my harmonics. But keep on the lookout during the week, because during the week I definitely do drop trade analysis in the group chats. So I will see you guys on Thursday on the next one. Be easy. Yeah. My bad, Joe. I got a pop up just now on the screen and threw me off.